The EV that could terrify Detroit is not parked in America yet. It is being built in China, sold overseas for less, and every major automaker knows what happens if it finally reaches American roads. Because this is not just about cheap electric cars. It is about a new standard. More range, more tech. Faster launches, lower prices. And one brutal question for Tesla, Ford, BMW, and Mercedes. Why should Americans pay luxury money for cars that already feel outdated? Comment China if you think Detroit should be worried, or America if you think US automakers can still fight back, because this EV war is only getting started. For decades, the car world had a predictable map. America owned trucks, muscle cars, and the Tesla dream. Germany owned luxury. Japan owned reliability. Korea became the value comeback story. China was supposed to be the factory, the copycat, or the massive market Western brands wanted to sell into. In 2025, China sold more than 13 million electric cars. Close to 55% of new cars sold there were electric. This is not a small EV experiment anymore. This is the biggest car market on Earth, training its companies like athletes before the Olympics. And when a market moves that fast, every mistake becomes a lesson. Batteries get cheaper, software gets better, factories move faster, buyers become harder to impress. The companies that survive that pressure do not come out soft. They come out dangerous. That is where BYD became the industry's nightmare. Years ago, Elon Musk laughed when someone asked whether BYD could compete with Tesla. That clip now feels like a warning label. BYD started as a battery company, then became a car company, then became a global threat. By 2025, it sold about 4.6 million vehicles. That is not a lucky startup moment. That is a giant walking into the room and turning the lights off. But BYD is only the loudest alarm. Xiaomi came from smartphones and built an EV that made people ask why a tech company could create more excitement than brands with a century of car history. NIO is chasing premium buyers. XPeng is pushing smart driving systems. Zeekr, Geely, SAIC, MG, Leapmotor, and Li Auto are all adding pressure from different angles. This is not one Chinese brand coming for the auto industry. It is an entire wave. For legacy executives, that is terrifying because the threat is not loud in one place. It shows up in pricing meetings, supplier contracts, software roadmaps, battery costs, export plans, and every customer who quietly asks, "Why is our version so much more expensive right here?" And that wave hits America's weakest spot: price. In April 2026, the average new vehicle transaction price in the United States was about $49,461. That is not just expensive. That is, maybe I should keep driving my old Camry until the door becomes a suggestion. Expensive. Now imagine a young buyer in Dallas or Phoenix scrolling through videos of Chinese EVs overseas. Giant screens, modern interiors, fast acceleration, smart features, clean design. Prices that sometimes look closer to a used car than a new American SUV. Even if those cars are blocked from US showrooms, the comparison still enters the buyer's brain. And once buyers see better value somewhere else, loyalty starts cracking. This is why Tesla has to pay attention. Tesla made EVs cool. The Model S made electric performance desirable. The Model 3 made EVs normal. The Model Y made them everywhere. But the easy era is over. Tesla is no longer the only exciting electric car in the room. In China, Tesla fights companies that can cut prices, launch quickly, copy what works, improve fast, and attack every segment. Budget cars, family SUVs, premium sedans, tech-heavy crossovers, even wild performance machines that look like they were designed by someone who played too much Gran Turismo after midnight. Tesla still has brand power, software experience, charging strength, and loyal fans who can defend a panel gap like it is a family member. But now Tesla must prove it is still the future, not just the company that made the future famous first. And for BMW and Mercedes, the fear is different. They are not worried because a cheap city EV will steal an S-Class buyer tomorrow. They are worried because Chinese EVs are changing what luxury means. Luxury used to mean leather, silence, heritage, and a badge that made your neighbor act happy for you while secretly checking lease prices. Now, luxury can mean rear screens, massage seats, voice control, fast charging, driver assistance, wild acceleration, and software that actually feels modern. If Chinese brands offer that for less, the German badge still matters, but it no longer wins by default. That is the scary part. Chinese EVs attack the bottom with price, the middle with value, and the top with technology. But price is only one weapon. Speed is the other. Traditional automakers move like giant ships. A new platform takes years. Software can feel like it was approved by 6 committees, 3 lawyers, and one guy named Brad who still prints emails. Chinese EV makers move more like phone companies. Launch, update, discount, improve, add features, fix problems, start again. In a world where cars are becoming rolling tech products, that rhythm matters. The old auto industry built machines, the new one builds ecosystems. That means batteries, chips, software, charging, apps, cameras, sensors, and data all matter together. Chinese companies learned this inside the most competitive EV market on Earth. Price wars hurt profits. Some brands will disappear, others will merge, but that pressure is exactly why the survivors are so dangerous. If a company can survive China's EV battlefield, it has already played the game on hard mode. And then there is charging. For years, EV critics had one reliable joke. What happens when the battery dies? Range anxiety became the official sport of people who have never driven an EV but still have strong opinions at barbecue tables. Chinese brands are attacking that fear directly. BYD has pushed ultra-fast charging plans and new battery technology. NIO has battery swapping. XPeng and others are building smarter software around driving and charging. Not every promise will work perfectly everywhere. Real roads, cold weather, grid limits, and broken chargers still exist. America knows this because some charging stations behave like they were built by a raccoon with Wi-Fi. But the direction is clear. If charging becomes faster, easier, and less stressful, one of the biggest emotional barriers to EV adoption weakens. So why are these cars not already filling American highways? Tariffs. The United States moved to place a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs. That protects American automakers for now, but it also proves the fear is real. You do not build a wall that high around something nobody thinks matters. Still, tariffs cannot block the internet. Americans can watch reviews, they can see prices overseas, they can compare features. They can ask why a car in another market gets more technology for less money, while their local dealer adds fees, markups, and a protection package nobody asked for. That is how the threat crosses the ocean before the cars do. For Detroit, this is a warning. Ford, GM, and Stellantis cannot treat EVs like luxury experiments forever. Ford is already working on more affordable electric models, including a planned mid-size EV pickup around $30,000. That number matters because America does not need only futuristic EVs. It needs electric cars normal people can buy without turning their monthly budget into a crime scene. For consumers, the situation is complicated. If Chinese EVs stay out, American companies get breathing room, but buyers may keep paying more. If they come in, prices could fall, but US brands face a fight they cannot sleepwalk through. Either way, the comfort zone is gone. Chinese EVs are not terrifying because every model is perfect. They are terrifying because they expose every weak spot the old industry tried to hide. High prices, slow software, expensive batteries, boring interiors, dealership frustration, and the belief that famous badges could protect weak value forever. And that is why Chinese EVs are not just another car trend. They are a warning shot to the entire industry. Detroit can build barriers, Tesla can defend its crown, BMW and Mercedes can lean on heritage. But at the end of the day, American buyers care about one thing: value. More tech, better range, faster charging, lower prices. That is a hard argument to beat. So the real question is not whether Chinese EVs are coming. The real question is, will the old car giants be ready when customers start demanding more for less? If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like and subscribe, because we are just getting started with the biggest car wars happening right now.